We're back, baby. The Planting Seeds podcast is back. We're awake after 13 months of being asleep. The last episode was April 2023, and the title of that was Broke but Dreaming. And man, was that a reflection of where I was at that time in my life. I had the responsibilities of being a father, being a husband, and being a provider, and I was intimate with the feeling of failure because I was struggling to provide for my family. I was so committed to the path of wanting to turn what I loved, which is doing the podcast, which is helping people, creating services, turning that into a viable option to support my family. And I failed. I was failing because I was struggling to pay rent because my results were suggesting that I needed to try something else. And you get to an interesting point within yourself when you're trying and it's just not working. You start to lose belief within yourself. And a good friend of mine by the name of Nick Smith, you've heard him on the podcast before. He said sometimes you got to get to a point where you don't believe in yourself only to believe in yourself again. And that's what it has been. 13 months later, I'm happy to say that I'm not in that state of being broke, and I'm walking in the shoes of living the dreams that I once thought about. And I really had to take a step back, let go, take a step back, shut my mouth and do the do. Because the energy that I had available, I had to direct it, I had to be mindful of it, I had to be conscious of it, and I had to harness it because I wanted to create different results. And there were times where I had the tools and I had the positive mindset, but if we let our results reflect and dictate how we feel about ourselves, we're going to continue to get the same results, particularly if they're in the negative space. And so I had to rise above that if I can just focus solely on having a positive mindset, believing in those thoughts, and not allowing my results or my current circumstances to take me away from that, then I just had to believe in that process. And after time, by holding true to that and staying consistent and committed, things started to change. And it's been an awesome ride since. And I'm so grateful for that time. And during that whole period, what I'm in at this point in time is the new Planting Seeds podcast studio, and it's a mobile studio, the first of its kind here in Aotearoa, to my knowledge anyway. But what it is, it used to be the Tupuanuku food trailer. And those of you who have been following the journey for some time, you'd know exactly what the Tupuanuku food trailer was. But everything's been gutted, from the floor to all of the cooking utensils, the microwave, the oven, the fridge. Everything has been taken out and it's been repurposed into a mobile podcast studio as well as my office. Big mention to the brothers, Jesse King, who came in and done all of the building and the majority of the changing. The brother Mana from Mana Electrical here, a local boy who came in and done all of the sparky work. And also a big mention to the brothers from Chiltec who installed a air conditioning unit, because it's either a full-on sauna or it's an icebox. And so having the aircon unit is a godsend, because I'm thinking about my guest. I'm thinking about being in the space and wanting to make it as comfortable as possible for them. And the temperature is a big part of that. And also a big mention to the brother Tyler who done the welding of the actual unit itself. But this couldn't have been possible if it wasn't also for Potama Trust. So big mihi out to Potama Trust who helped put up some of the funding to make this change into what it is. And so these are the key people who have been a part of this process of turning this into what it is. And the big ambition for it is to take it all around the motu. I want to have conversations everywhere with a lot of different people, and even opening up the hatch to potentially do live sessions. And so these are the big dreams. But there's a big announcement. I actually need to put that button on this roadcaster. But the big news is through the support of Te Māngai Pāho, I'm happy to announce that the Planting Seeds podcast is creating a Matariki series where I'm having 9 different conversations with 9 different guests resonating with the 9 stars of Matariki. So these people are awesome at what they do in the mātauranga that they have around Matariki, but also practically applying it in their everyday life. And so if you're like me, who's a learner of Te Reo Māori, who is someone who is wanting to connect more to their identity as Māori, this is the series that is going to revamp the podcast into its season 3. And the production for that starts this week. So you won't be seeing any of those podcasts for another couple of weeks yet. However, these are the exciting things that are in the works. So big mihi to Te Māngai Pāho, but more so to the team who has enabled this to actually turn into this beautiful dream, this meaningful kaupapa that is going to be there for you, the listener. And I'm really committed to providing this space of service, for stepping back into this space with a full cup, to be able to give the overflow, to share all of the things that I've been able to learn from this time being away, but also the learnings that we're all going to receive from the guests that are going to be blessing our show. So to you, the listeners, a big mihi and a big thank you for your patience. I've received a lot of messages, and a lot of people who I'm around always talk about when is it coming back. And I'm happy to say that the time is now. So thank you for your patience. Thank you to everyone who has been a part of my journey from the last episode to here. But let's jump on the coats of those who are already doing good things, and let's build this momentum and start rowing this waka again. Mauri ora, and thank you so much. Let's go.